Hello there, and welcome to Lunch for the Soul. I am Melissa Wilson in the Fox 26 Houston newsroom. Really happy to welcome you here today. There are so many people in the greater Houston area who are dealing with some type of intellectual disability, whether it's your child with autism or many other things. Sometimes kiddos can get lost as they head into adulthood, but there is a place in town that's doing everything they can to try to change that. They're working fast and furiously, and families are really benefiting from it. So without further ado, I'm going to first of all bring in Hunter Alexander with MySpot. Welcome to Houston's morning, or to I was going to say Houston's morning show, which is where you usually find me, but
Right.
to Lunch for the Soul. So happy to have you here because what you guys are doing is really miraculous. It's great to see how far kiddos are coming and helping kids get into their adulthood. How important is it to do that?
Melissa, it's one of the most important things we can do, right? So my older brother, Austin, has Angelman syndrome. So, I have been around this whole, thing my entire life. And so, being able to be an integral part in, these children, adolescents, adults' lives is so important. And it brings me joy every single day to get to do it.
And I bet that families feel even closer to you when they find out that
Mhm.
you basically grew up with this, right? And so you know how it affects families on both sides of it.
Definitely. So, I mean, one of my first things I do when I meet a new parent or new family, when I introduce myself, I always kind of start with my background, just to let them know that this is a safe space, that you know, we are in it for you, your child, and that we're here to support you in the best way that we can, and that we understand the different, funny things we can find ourselves in when we have, a loved one with special needs or some of the challenges and obstacles that we face. But not only can I help you as a clinician, but I can help you just as a fellow human being who understands what it is and what life is like, so that we can be a trustworthy space for you.
Oh, that is huge. Now, for someone who might not understand what a board certified behavior analyst is, can you walk us through that so that people better understand how you are able to really make a big difference versus having a child perhaps in a mainstream class?
Absolutely. So, a board certified behavior analyst is a professional who is certified in implementing principles of behavior analysis to help make socially significant change, whether it's building skills, so life skills, helping with getting dressed, eating. Sometimes we may see that there are some disruptive behaviors that may be a barrier for us to get into a mainstream classroom. So my job would be to assist you in identifying those functions of behavior. So why are we seeing the things that we're seeing? And help identify an alternative that we can teach and to make them successful in the regular classroom, in their environment.
Well, let's talk to somebody who knows all too well about that. Let's bring in Kayla right now. Fleming Stellens, thank you for being here because your child has highly benefited from going to MySpot, actually with a different behavioral specialist. But let's talk about how it's made a difference in your life.
Well, first, thank you for having us. I think your show is just a beautiful, just escape from the news sometimes,
Thank you.
as well as, it just shows people something they may not know much about.
Mhm.
Like for me, in the recent, years, I've noticed more and more, autism centers popping up. And I'm sure a lot of people, when they're driving around, they wonder, maybe what's going on at those places. And it's really so beneficial to parents to have ABA centers because as parents, we do need help to help our children because they, learn in a different way.
Yeah, they do. And it's so important for them to be taught in a different way. So this is Gavin, your precious boy. Tell us how old he is and all about him.
Gavin will be 10 in January. And I would say we've been on a real adventure throughout, his life because he was diagnosed with autism when he was about 2.5. And so as soon as we knew, we were going to therapy right away. And we went to a lot of different doctors, a lot of clinics. And at this point, he's almost 10, and it can be really difficult to find a place that will help older children. And my biggest wish for families who have just had a diagnosis for their child is to find a place like MySpot, because you can grow with that place and know all the therapists. And I wish I had known, a long time ago about a place like that. The way the therapist just can tell, because Gavin, he's non-speaking. So they're very, very good and very experienced at reading his body language and figuring out what he wants to do, even when he can't communicate it. So having therapists with that kind of experience is so important, because, it can take a long time to get to know a child and understand how to help them in the best way. And he learns through, baby steps, and they record, data constantly on their laptop, tablet, to track his progress and share it with parents. And that kind of helps you guide, the next thing that you want to tackle in learning, whether it's, educational or just behavioral.
Let's talk more about what you've seen, the difference since you started there. So are you able to tell that you can communicate better with Gavin? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, for Gavin, I want to say that he has never really been to school, just a couple of times, because he does get really distracted. So he needs this one-on-one attention, that MySpot provides. And the one-on-one attention is so important because it helps him really understand, how to be more patient, how to cooperate better. And definitely since he started at MySpot, he is a lot more patient and just more in tune with what's going on around him. Because if he was at just a mainstream school, he kind of gets lost in what's going on. So I hope that he'll go to school one day, but for now he's learning all those just basic, how to control his, behavior and how to be more calm. And everyone he works with there is just so passionate about what they do, and they just take care of him so well.
Hunter, I want to bring you into this conversation. How does it make you feel to hear a parent who's there day in and day out with their child be able to see their child respond to therapy like this so positively?
So it makes me feel so elated and happy. And I got to speak with Kayla briefly before this, and she told me all about Gavin and how great Greg, his behavior analyst, has been with her and her family. As a clinician, this is what we want, right? I want to support our families the best way we can, support these kids the best way that we can. And so hearing progress and seeing progress and just the benefits that we see and hearing about it in Gavin it's why we do what we do. And it's why we work so hard every single day.
Let's talk more about how you're able to pull that off. So it's through all kinds of things, from speech all the way to music.
Yes, ma'am. So we offer a comprehensive, holistic approach to therapy. So we offer our applied behavior analysis therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, music therapy. We will be having nutrition to help with feeding, restricted food intake, in addition to home health. So if they ever have any needs for medications administration or any of those kinds of things, we can offer that as well. We want to be a place where you can come and all of these services can happen under one roof and you can access it through us. Sometimes it can be really hard to navigate all these different types of disciplines if your doctor recommends these for you and you're having to drive here, there, everywhere, match your schedules. And so we want to make it easier and take the stress off of being a parent, because we know that's a job in itself. So we just want to make it easy as possible.
And sorry to put that wheel over your face, but I really wanted to show everybody while you were talking about it. I was able to pull this from your website, and I want people to see that website at the top there. myspotcare.com, where it shows all of those different things. That's a lot of aspects that you're touching on, and I think it's so neat to see that. I also found these really interesting stats from your website that I just wanted to share. And we're talking about 220,000 lives that you've been able to change. We have more than 1,300 caregivers through all of MySpot. Then you have 42 locations, but actually 7 here in the greater Houston area.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How impactful is that, and for people right here in Houston to be able to get that care?
It's real. I feel like it's super impactful. We having, kind of a dense number of locations makes access so much easier. We are open for any questions. We'll give you a tour. Please come see us. We'd love to speak with you. And we just want to be the place that, is your one-stop shop. And we can be there to support you from early childhood all the way to adults as well.
And I think that one thing that I see from my friends who deal with their child with autism is the expenses of the care. It can really get tough for families. But you do take insurance?
Yes, ma'am. We do take all major forms of insurance, and then we have a full team where we can answer any questions about all of that, what copays and all those things. We have everyone here for you to make ease of transition, and that we can make it easiest on you.
Yeah, that really does make a difference to know that you might be able to get some help with it, because I know it can be really financially devastating. Let's talk more to Kayla about that. That's one of the things I feel like families really struggle with, is trying to deal with paying for everything. Has that been a challenge for your family?
Yeah, it's luckily we've had insurance during this time, but there's been times where it's even hard to get insurance to approve. And different companies are better than others. So I would say, it can be really stressful to deal with all that, because you're not sure if you have to have a lapse in care at some point. So MySpot has been great at helping me navigate all of that, especially if you have to change our insurance. So they, relieve that worry while you're trying to figure that all out.
And I think that it's interesting to find out more about their mission. So they really want to help these kiddos become independent so that they can hopefully someday live on their own and have a job, but to also make sure that they feel like that they belong in this society. How do you feel like your child is dealing with that and being helped in those aspects?
I feel like if it wasn't for MySpot, he would be a lot more behind, for sure. I'm really extremely thankful for every therapy clinic that we've been to in these past, 8 years, because actually, moms, I think, try to do everything on their own, and it's sometimes hard to admit, like, I need a little bit of help. And it's, when you have a child with special needs, you do need a little bit of a village, because for kids like Gavin, who are non-speaking, I think, especially if they can't go to school, it's really helpful for them to be around different, adults and kids for the social aspect of it. It just helps them be more comfortable with new situations, and it just helps them grow, as a person and be his best self. And so far, all the therapists that he has, they care about him so much, and he is so excited every day to go to the clinic. And, we call it school for him. And say, we're going to go to school, and he gets excited, and he'll just wait by the window, and just wait for them to come out. And they just come out and they put their arms around him and tell him, we're going to have a great day. And as a mom, leaving your child who is not speaking somewhere, it's always hard to be comfortable. Will they get their needs met? Will everyone understand what they want to do? And I can definitely say that everyone at MySpot has that experience to kind of, sometimes you have to kind of read their mind, because even, Gavin can do really well with the iPad, telling us basic needs, but sometimes you just have to kind of, be sneaky and try to figure out, what they're thinking in a different way. And they've helped so many kids that they're just really good at doing that.
Have you been able to witness him when he's there and get an idea of what his day looks like? And if so, can you share what that's like for him?
Yeah, they do a really cool thing. It's kind of like a mock classroom. So they have like a group activity. I think it's twice a day where they do, a song together. And I think they look at the calendar and kind of just, like a regular classroom and plan out the day. And I think that helps him a lot with just getting ready for school, hopefully one day. And I think, they can support him, if he goes to school a few times a week in the future, just to make sure he's comfortable and able to follow along with what everyone's doing.
It's so good to be able to hear that he's building toward that, right? And the dream
Yeah.
would be to get to school someday.
Mhm.
All right, let's bring you back into this conversation and talk about what happens when sometimes kids are diagnosed later, or for whatever reason, maybe they move here from somewhere else, but many facilities won't take them past the age of 8. But that's not an issue for you guys.
No, ma'am. So the way our science works, we push a lot of early intervention as best practice,
Hmm.
which is definitely true. Try and intervene early as as early as possible. However, once you reach these age 8, 9, 10, and we're going into our preteen teenage years, there's a lot of life that happens, right? We have things get harder. School can be harder. Our bodies are changing. And so what do we do then, right? At MySpot, we are really proud to say that we do not discharge or deflect anyone just because they are a little bit older. We actually have a adult center, which is geared towards the adult population, 18 and up. We have apartments in there where we can help and teach daily living skills like cooking, how to do your laundry, how to fold your laundry, cleaning our house, doing chores, following a list, right? Can they, make their own list on things that they need and engage in these behaviors that can make them more independent. So I think that I'm really proud to say that I'm a part of an organization that does not forget, our team who still need our help and still need some support. And so we're there every step of the way.
And Kayla, I'm sure it's got to make you feel better about the future too, knowing that's there as your child grows up, basically.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents hope that their child will kind of, be ready for school sooner than they think, but sometimes it just doesn't happen like that. So places like MySpot give us, a weight off our shoulders to know that, we have this help available for as long as we need it on whatever journey, we're on. Because when you're not, on the typical journey, you're not really sure, what the future will be like. And they help that entire conversation about the future it's a lot easier, a lot more worry-free. And yeah, just the therapists there just make you feel like, anything is possible as long as you take those baby steps. And every time I have a meeting, I call Greg, Gavin's BCBA, I call him Gavin's boss. And whenever I have a meeting with Greg, he just goes over so much information from the previous few weeks. There's charts, there's graphs. I'm not sure if many people, know about that who, aren't touched by autism, but with this therapy, they track, all these details to kind of guide you for the next, behavior or skill you want your child to work on. So it's a very involved, therapy that I think some kids really thrive with, and Gavin definitely does.
Yeah, and I would think that would be huge to have that, because it's almost like when you're living with somebody, you just sort of slowly get used to everything, right? But if you see in black and white how far he's come, I'm sure it gives you hope too, to be able to
Yeah,
see and
yeah.
maybe see what else he needs to work a little harder on, right? So it's probably gives you a reflection of everything that's going on.
Yeah, it's very very inspiring to see the progress, and gives you that little boost you need to to believe in not only yourself as a parent, but in your child, and to just keep pushing forward every day, no matter what's happening.
I'm just wondering, because we were talking earlier about how many places there are. for help. Can you walk us through a little bit more about how you found this safe space for your son?
Well, it has been a difficult one. We
Mhm.
lived in Oregon before, and when your child is smaller, usually you can kind of bounce through a few clinics over time because you're not really sure what you're doing at that point. It's just all new to you, and you're just looking for the right place for your child. So at one point, we found a really great place, but they not only had to close, but they also said that Gavin was aging out because he was around 7. So luckily, there was only one other place where we lived that would see older kids. And that place was absolutely amazing. It was in Oregon. And that was where we went to before we moved here. And when I came here, I knew I have to find a place just like that place because I thought there was nothing like it. And everyone there was so amazing to Gavin. So we came here and I found MySpot luckily right away. And as soon as we took Gavin there to have his initial assessment and figure out our plan, everyone there just kind of, like I said before, they were just very good at reading his body language, the tone of the sounds that he makes. And I just felt comfortable right away that they had that experience with these kids and just could, figure out, what he's thinking most of the time without even, using the iPad.
And Hunter, I know that's the goal with every single person there, right? That's what you hope happens, that
Oh,
they're able to feel that way.
absolutely. You, our parents are our kids' experts, but the kids teach us as much as we try to teach them, and so we want them all to feel as comfortable as you possibly can. So
For anybody who wants to find out more about you, Hunter, is it best just to start on the website and just start your research there?
definitely, our website myspot.com has it's user friendly. We have a menu list where you can get in contact with our intake director if you have questions. If you'd like to get more, we have lists of all of our locations on there. So finding one that's closer to your area, because sometimes distance and travel can be difficult. And you can start your research right there, and someone will be there to answer all of your questions.
All right. And as a knowing mom, Kayla, it certainly looks like that it's working for you and your family.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to being at MySpot for a long time, and I know Gavin does as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for taking time to talk to us today, to walk us through this journey. And I hope it continues to be a very positive one for you both.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you
Melissa.
so much
All
for
right.
having us. Listen.
Fascinating to learn more about what you're doing. Keep up the good work, Hunter. Really
Thank you so
very,
much.
I think it's so special that you use your life experiences to help all these other people. So thanks for sharing that
Thank you.
part of your journey as well.
Thank
Okay,
you
I
so
hope
much.
to see you all again sometime. So keep me up to date with what's going on with your precious Gavin.
Okay, thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you. Have a great
Thanks
day.
again. You too. And I want to thank you all for being here. You can always catch us all over the place as far as Fox is concerned. Our Fox Local app is a really easy way to find us. That can either be for your smart TV or for your phone. You can also find us on our website, fox26houston.com, our Fox 26 Facebook page, as well as our Fox 26 YouTube. So we're making it as easy as we can for you to be able to find Lunch for the Soul, okay? Thanks for being here. I hope to see you again next week. It's always Wednesdays and Saturdays at 1 o'clock. See you next time.